Hello friends. I'm sorry to make my first real video something so heavy, but it's just a big thing on my mind, on my comrades' minds, and I think on a lot of people's minds. Today, I want to talk about what it's like to enter adulthood knowing what we know about our climate, our pollution, and our fate. So here it goes. We are living in a time where we are being presented with information regarding the very fate of all of us. We are being told by countless voices speaking almost in unison that the world as we know it, and all of us, our friends and families with it, will be at best unrecognizable and at worst gone in only decades without fundamental changes to the way our entire society operates. We are finding out that we are going to run out of soil capable of growing food because of how our agriculture has been built to operate. We are finding out that the air we now breathe freely will be filled with smoke, ash, and chemicals not safe for the human lungs to inhale because we are drying out and poisoning our air. We are finding out that in only a short time we will see homes we grew up in flooded, friends we made in elementary school starving, and land we played on in our youth scorched. The land we live on, the air we breathe, and many of the beings we share our world with will be gone, unchangeably and irreversibly. So much of the earth will not be able to sustain life at all. Humans will have started a perpetual cycle that has no alternate ending from the complete erasure of all humans on Earth. It's easy to simply state these facts if they're an abstraction, or if they're off in the future, or if they're easy enough to dismiss from any effect on our daily lives. It's really hard when we talk about this to really convey everything that this entails. You really have to sit with this knowledge and internalize it in order to understand what this all means, and even then it's so impossible to figure out what those experiences will be like. When we're all growing up, we learn so much of what we know about the world through the experiences and ideas of others around us. Whether that's what our parents tell us, or what our teachers teach us, or what we see in media. However, no generation prior to those alive right now has had to grapple with their own extinction. None of our parents have fully grasped this because they have never dealt with this, nor has any generation prior to them. None of the movies we watched as children taught us about how to deal with this raw, uncompromising existential threat. Accordingly, I and many of us have lived until recent years under the complete and constant assumption that humanity will keep going and the world will continue operating almost endlessly without question. That fundamental assumption of life and its continuation, which has been a basic and founding assumption of my worldview, is now one that needs to be completely dissolved. Everything I have ever thought, or dreamt, or remembered has to be completely broken down, and that which can be salvaged in light of this new knowledge must be salvaged and rebuilt. But the reason this is hard is because so much of it, so much of what I've fantasized about my future, can never be seen again. So there's a question that comes out of this. What do I do? What do I think? I need to reassess my entire worldview now. This is the long journey that I and many others have been on since we first learned of what is coming and what is already happening. I'm so comfortable here in my home where I can look out the window to see the same neighbors I've known for years, and the same trees I walked by on my way to the school bus years ago, on the same street that I used to bike up and down with my friends. I can imagine a world where capitalism turns it into a mall or factory, but I can't imagine a world where the soil is black and gray, and there isn't life anywhere for thousands of miles. I can imagine a world where the place itself has changed, but I can't imagine a world where the very essence of the place as I have experienced it is gone forever. But people experience loss in this way already. People less privileged than myself on many dimensions already don't experience this reality. Poverty already exists in the world. Prisons already exist in the world. Refugees already exist in the world. I need to be more specific than this if I'm going to be able to really grasp what this might be like. So let's try this. When a nuclear bomb goes off, the fireball obliterates everything it touches. Every child and mother is made into nothing. Every house is reduced to powder. Every cat chasing a squirrel is made into a memory belonging to someone who is probably also made into nothing. Anyone who would be around to speak up about what happened there is eviscerated with the rest of them. Everything is physically gone or unrecognizable, and so goes the essence of what that place was. What I have to imagine in order to really know what experience I can expect here goes even beyond this, though. The complete personal loss to me of my home and community will happen, and the complete obliteration of everything that made them what they were will happen. But there's still so much more to it. Maybe it will help if I look at it chronologically. First, I'll get to watch on the news as billions of people, like me and those I love, only born somewhere else, flee hotter climates. They will find themselves in places they don't know, running from something that will not stop chasing them there. Some will probably end up in my community, and maybe they'll have lost their families on the way, but only they will know at that point what they had to leave behind in order to get here, and that will be a foreshadowing for the rest of us. And it'll mean a few additional things to me. Firstly, I'll know that the thing that destroyed their lives is still coming. It's not coming for them, and it's not coming for me, but it's coming, and it will destroy everything in its path. They will recognize that they are not here to stay. They will recognize that they are only here until this part of our world is destroyed too, at which point they and I will move on together, moving further toward any remaining scraps of habitable Earth, until there is nothing left, and we are all starving and thirsting and burning and drowning and suffocating. Secondly, their presence here will be in the context of a new scarcity of resources. By this point, the effects of capitalist agriculture will already be setting in. We will already be in droughts and famines. We will already be breathing more and more smoky air. People from my community will take up and spread bigotry and reactionary values because the fascistic methodology of exacerbating hierarchies endlessly will no longer be a matter of prosperity for the few who comprise the ruling class. It will be what the ruling class provides to buy time while they escape. Instead of fighting those who made our resources scarce, we will all have been tricked into fighting those we have to share now scarce resources with. At this point in the line of reasoning I'm taking, I realize that I don't need to take it any further. The things I can assume about my experiences beyond any of this are moot. The pain of realizing that my dreams and my future are dying is central. What we need to do now becomes clear at this point beyond what any hypothetical extrapolation can inform. I suppose I left that gate a while ago, though. This has all been about figuring these things out for myself and my own fear. Many of us have known what needs to be done since we read any of the wealth of research for the first time. Some of us have even known far longer than that. When we're presenting all this information to others, there are so many invalidations of it all that people use. Alarmism, craziness, unrealistic. These are all words people use in denial of the reality that is coming. Even people who will always claim to be, quote, on the side of science, will deny what those they describe as science are now telling us, because the only reasonable, logical, and moral conclusion to be drawn from this information is that everything that we know right now, and that we take comfort in right now, either needs to be destroyed and replaced with something better, or it will be destroyed for us by something that we have ourselves created. It's no wonder that people deny this. I wish I could deny this. I wish for that so badly. But I know very deeply, and I think many of us do, that we will be happier telling our children how we stood and fought, instead of taking it all as it was because standing up was too hard. I don't mean to downplay how hard it is. The whole reason I'm making this video is because it's so hard and I want to talk about it. But what I said is still true, that the reward for what we must do will far outweigh the price we have to pay. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'm going to link some research publications down in the description for y'all to see and share. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.